Join us for this episode of Chuffed Adventures as we celebrate Captain Joel's birthday and I go and visit a dog with a serious eye problem. Good morning. It is our fearless captain's birthday today. So I'm going to try and make this delicious chocolate cake in our great oven, so it should go well. And Jolie's gone down to do some work on the dinghy, but then we're going to head to the beach and have a bit of a fiesta, so should be a good day. Wish him a big happy birthday. With the essentials packed, it was time to go. I headed down to Rick's workshop to pick up Joel and tear him away from his precious dinghy project. With work done for the day, we headed down to the Little Moyosita to get a water taxi over to Playa Aranitas, a really cool little beach just across from Golfito where a lot of the expats hang out on the weekends. Being a veterinarian means you don't always get a break from work, even on your husband's birthday, and when we arrived at the beach this was no exception, with plenty of dogs to play with and examine. One such dog had just given birth to 6 puppies, so I gave them all a really good check over and made sure Mum was doing well. We've organised to revisit them in a week and you'll see them growing week by week in the videos. Back at the beach bar, things were starting to get a little rowdy as we all enjoyed a few too many tequilas, rums, and Jägermeister.
Oh, buenos. Feliz cumpleaños, Joel. Y uno para Joel.
¿Para Joel? Y uno para Joana.
Sí, sí.
Porque
Joana o Joel primero. Joel. Para Joel cumpleaños.
Me llamo Glenn. Happy birthday, Joel. No. Happy birthday!
Against us.
Noel.
Cumpleaños.
I don't have a...
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday
To you!
Happy birthday, dear Joel. Happy birthday to you.
Oh my God!
Hip hip, hooray! Hip hip, hooray! And from here, things got a little bit out of hand, and we don't have any film except this beautiful sunset, which is beautiful. Look at that. Beautiful.
The next morning it was very much one of those what do we do with the drunken sailor moments as we were meeting up with one of our patrons and couldn't help but feel a little bit like this guy. So we were very lucky to have an awesome visit from one of our patrons, Lee, which has been really fun. He's been here yesterday and today. Joel and him are just checking out the dinghy and I'm going to go check a little puppy with some eye problems. So busy as always, but it was really awesome having him. He's a really awesome guy and it was nice to meet someone who believes in us and has been supporting us. So thank you, Lee. Thank you again. The next day, I was off to visit a lovely little dog called Rosco, who'd been having a chronic eye problem for around 2 weeks. His owners don't have a lot of money and they did take him to the veterinarian once, but unfortunately the medication didn't get him better and they couldn't afford to go again. So Sally, one of the lovely ladies who owns a bar here, took me over to visit him. Rosco had a severe eye infection, which I think was either secondary to dry eye or potentially allergies. The infection had gotten so bad and his eyes were so dry that he actually had scarring on his corneas, making it really difficult for him to see. I prescribed an antibiotic called doxycycline, which not only penetrates the eye tissue very well, but also helps reduce inflammation in the eye, as well as an oral anti-inflammatory and eye drops to help soothe his eyes and act as an extra antibiotic topically. Rosco was such a good boy for his checkovers and such a sweet man. We've also organised for a bit of extra food for him and some parasite control, and we'll be visiting back with him in a week or so. Before too long, it was time for me to don my gloves again, but this time not for surgery. Instead, I was mixing some epoxy together so we could keep going with the dinghy project. We were laying down the final piece of fiberglass to go on the bottom of the boat. Working as a team, Joel was able to roll on the epoxy, and then I would put the fiberglass down, and then we could roll the epoxy back out on top and smooth it all over. Things went pretty smoothly and we got a lot done in a pretty short period of time. So you put those new tapes on yesterday?
Yeah, this is just to reinforce the main seam so that when it's getting dragged up the beach, the glass doesn't just kind of scrape away, and then we've got a big hole in the main seam of the boat.
Yep. So it's the strongest part.
So this is kind of just sacrificial. That's really thick triaxle.
And then you also put a few patches on where it was a little thinner, yeah?
Yeah, just where I'd rubbed through. So this will all get sanded later today, sanded smooth, and then we'll put a top coat of resin on.
Yeah.
So that's nice and smooth.
And what's to be done after that? Pretty close, right, then?
Oh yeah. And then I can flip it over and put the boxes in. Put the rails on the sides to make it look pretty. Yeah.
You're recording the event, are you?
Yeah, trying to get little bits and pieces.
We'll top them back.
Got the heavy stuff on?
Yeah, just for the seam.
Once the fiberglass had dried, Joel was back to the itchy task of sanding it all back. Be sure to join us next episode as we give you a taste into marina life. As I tackle some boat jobs, visit a really sick turtle, Joel continues with the dinghy project, and I give you a bit of an insight into what it's like to provision for a few weeks on board. Until next time, stay chuffed everybody.